Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and others, step right up to witness the spectacle that is MrBeast. Welcome back to the channel. I just have to say that this is an awkward one for me. It's taken tons of research time to delve into this, and the whole question is MrBeast now toxic?
My king's coming back, that's what I'm banking on. We eat and celebrate the grace of God with that filet mignon. I'm just saying we came a long way from in the grave to where we're at.
Let's just start off by saying that I recognize that my audience is a mixed bag of people from all different genres and ages. And so I've got young and old people watching my channel. It's a small channel, but there's a lot of people in my age range. And some of you may not know or be familiar with the history of MrBeast. You know who he is now because everybody knows who he is now, or maybe you don't. So let's go into a little bit of history of who MrBeast is. And one of the things I want to say is that I'm going to be referring to a bunch of different videos on this particular video because there's just way too much stuff for me to cover on my own, and there's a lot of great channels that have gone in depth into some of the accusations and some of the things going on with MrBeast. So on the history of MrBeast, I want to refer you to YouTuber Muujin. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce his name, at Muujin. I will link it in the description as well, but he just goes into a really good kind of analysis of the beginnings of MrBeast and how he became viral in the first place. And this dates back to 2012 when MrBeast was like 13 years old starting out. So let's just listen in to what he has to say here.
He wanted to call himself Beast, but YouTube search wouldn't show his channel, which is why he decided to call himself MrBeast 6000. He grew up in North Carolina in a very Christian household, and you can see this in the cover of his channel. Next to Beast, you can see, "I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ." Something you'd never imagine seeing on his channel today, but that's where he's from, that's his roots. And at the time, he wanted to showcase that. He prided himself on not having a niche, making videos on just about anything, right? But focusing sometimes on the idea of how much does a certain YouTuber make in terms of money? This was the question on everyone's minds back then. I can confirm, since I was also on YouTube around the same time he was on it. Me and him were born in the same year, actually. Every video he used to make had one goal: to reach virality, to become viral. That was his goal. But unfortunately, the quality of the videos on his channel at the time were just not really top tier like they are today. As you can see, right, this is him on his own channel page, and he was practically averaging around 100 to 150 views per video. He kept grinding for years until his first ever viral video came out. I counted to 100,000. He literally just sat there, okay, for 40 hours, just counting from 0 to 100,000. The video itself is under 24 hours because Premiere at the time just couldn't export more than that. I don't even know if it can today, to be honest, but he sped it up. He was banking on the idea that this video is so crazy, so stupid, no one would attempt it except for him, and that it would be really hard to not click on it just out of curiosity. It worked. Today it sits at over 30 million views and it was uploaded at the beginning of 2017. This only served to give him more motivation. He started uploading more and got more creative. The first ever person to appear on MrBeast's videos other than Jimmy was none other than Ava Kris Tyson, MrBeast's best friend since childhood. In fact, his first ever subscriber too. They both go way back, as you can see from their yearbook pictures. Both having very similar backgrounds, both hailing from the same state, going to the same school, etc., etc. This would start to shift MrBeast in a different direction until opportunity came knocking and Jimmy answered it.
So some key points there were that Jimmy was at that young age trying to learn how to get viral and to get his videos viral, and then he did it with that first counting to 100,000, which took him over 24 hours to do, and he had to speed up the video so he could actually edit it and upload it onto YouTube. And if we look at him right now, MrBeast has he has about 309 million subscribers. And let's see if that's accurate on YouTube itself. YouTube, let's go MrBeast. Now he has multiple channels. Yeah, so it still shows 309 millions on there, subscribers. And also if I go to here, you can kind of see that there has been some interesting issues. So there's been some dropping in subscribers compared to the previous period. And there's a better graph of this I can look at. This is vidIQ channel stats. This is actually View Stats, which is partially owned by MrBeast and one of his top guys, Chucky, who we'll look into a little bit later. So one thing that's interesting on Social Blade, which I was also looking at, is that it shows kind of how rapidly the growth has been. Basically every 3 days he was gaining 1 million subscribers back in July, and that continued and continued, and then it started to spread out here. And this is kind of when all this news has been hitting the fan, especially on X and Reddit and other places, all the news that we're going to go into today. And what's happened is that his channel subscribers have started to slow down. Now this could be that there's been a lot of unsubscribes, but what I noticed was this. So it was 2 days, 3 days, and then now it's like 5 days, and then 5 or 6 days before he gets 1 million. And now we're up over a week, and he still has not gone over 309 million. So there's definitely been a drop. So there's been some drops, mind you. His last video was released on right here 12 days ago. So he hasn't actually released a video in 12 days. So that could be part of that as well. So this young guy goes from almost obscure invisibility to the amazing beast online that he is now. And how did it happen? Let's take a look back at the history again.
That opportunity was none other than PewDiePie versus T-Series. At the time, PewDiePie was the most subscribed channel on YouTube, but T-Series was threatening to catch up very quickly. This was a massive cultural moment on YouTube back then, right? And it mostly began around summer 2018. Some of the biggest YouTubers at the time, like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, MrBeast, KSI, etc., all united together, telling people to subscribe to PewDiePie to not let T-Series, a corporation, take over the most subscribed channel title. Jimmy would bank on this full force by making a video called Saying PewDiePie 100,000 times. The video succeeded so well, sitting at 26 million views as of today, that he had gained over 150,000 subscribers in under 24 hours. But he wasn't gonna stop there. He made a video called I Bought Every Billboard in My City for this, in which he bought billboards in North Carolina saying subscribe to PewDiePie to encourage the movement, right? And of course, PewDiePie reacted to this, growing his channel significantly more. Hell, at some point he bought multiple tickets in the front rows of the Super Bowl wearing shirts that said sub to PewDiePie, right? As you can see here, this is the picture. What he was doing was crazy at the time, spending insane amounts of money promoting this meme and also gaining a lot of fame because of it. Jimmy's goal was clear: to make videos so crazy that you just can't resist clicking on. But that didn't just include crazy stunts, it also included philanthropy. One of the first examples of this is giving a random homeless man $10,000, in which he literally just does that. He walks up to a homeless guy and gives him $10,000 cash, right? He was sponsored by Quid in this video and had managed to convince Quid, hey, listen, instead of giving me $5,000 for this, please just give me $10,000. I promise it'll bring in so many more views. And it did. The video
So I'm just going to go back a little bit here in that video,
today is that
because definitely he hit it out of the park when he started doing philanthropy. But just here in this video, the guy on the right is Jake the Viking right here. He's going to come up in this discussion a little later as well, with some of his own tweets and entering into the discussion. He is no longer working for MrBeast. Where is MrBeast at now? Well, actually, let's look at the history. If we look at the history of these channels, MrBeast is the #1 most subscribed YouTube channel in the world from 2024 to the present. So just this year, he beat T-Series. And in that video, he was fighting for PewDiePie. PewDiePie held the record from 2013 to 2019. He was the #1 YouTuber. And he lost that position in this battle with T-Series. And then in 2024, MrBeast took the lead. So now MrBeast is leading, and he's got a healthy lead of, what is that, 40 million? I think it's closer to, well, it might actually be close to that still right now. So he has won that battle. He is now the top YouTuber. And this is why it matters, because everything changed just in the past year. Everything has changed, and especially in the last few weeks. And this is where this question is, what's happening to MrBeast? Like anybody that's put on a pedestal, there's bound to be skeletons in the closet. There's bound to be bad things that happen. So it all starts in July 2024, a controversy with MrBeast and Ava, his name now, I'm saying he's trans woman now. Kris Tyson is now Ava. This issue came up, allegations of inappropriate online interactions with minors by Kris or Ava, leading to her departure from MrBeast's circle. The exact date of the initial allegations of Tyson's departure from social media wasn't specified, but the aftermath was clear by late July. So we're just talking a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Then there was another acknowledgement of past inappropriate language by MrBeast, in which he used the N-word in some of his videos, with some apparent racism. This includes a 2017 video where MrBeast made comments that were resurfaced, leading to his public apology for using inappropriate language in his younger days. Now, he's still quite young, in my view. He's what, 25? So he's a young guy. He made mistakes, of course. So this whole thing with Ava or Kris really kind of sparked an awkwardness on the channel in the first place, because suddenly this guy, who has been a kind of guy's guy on the show, starts transitioning into a girl, and it becomes very evident, and people are starting to question what's going on. And at first, MrBeast was very supportive of Kris in this journey, because he's his best friend and has been for a long time. So he states that publicly, that he's supportive, and no two bones about it. He's going to support his friend. Then these other accusations come out, with Kris being involved in stuff previously with the Discord channel and other things with minors. There's a lot of weird stuff involved. I'm not going to get into the details. You can look on. And eventually in July, end of July, around the 24th, that's when Jimmy or MrBeast has to come out publicly and say, I can no longer support Ava. On July 24th, MrBeast posts this on X, making his statement clear. He says, over the last few days, I've become aware of the serious allegations of Ava Tyson's behavior online, and I am disgusted and opposed to such unacceptable acts. During that time, I have been focused on hiring an independent third party to conduct a thorough investigation to ensure I have all the facts. That said, I've seen enough online and taken immediate action to remove Ava from the company, my channel, and any association with MrBeast. I do not condone or support any of the inappropriate actions. I will allow the independent investigators the necessary time to conduct a comprehensive investigation, and I will take any further action based on their findings. So that's a pretty clear step, and you can see some of the comments here. Billboard Chris, who's been fighting the woke mind virus, especially when it comes to the trans agenda against children, has said, as a first step, you should stop referring to him as a woman. Embrace reality. You're not helping anyone by promoting this cult of delusion which harms kids. Chris is very much focused on the harms to kids. Of course, for adults, they can make their own decisions, and Chris recognizes that. But the problem is that MrBeast's channel is largely targeted at kids, so it got very awkward, this happening. Now, this was July 24th. Later that same day, as if stuff couldn't hit the fan anymore for MrBeast, DogPack 404 drops this video. And it's called, I worked for MrBeast, he's a fraud.
Hi, I wanted to provide some context to this video. I'm a former MrBeast employee, and today I am alleging that the company rigged videos and did illegal lotteries and sold fake signatures. I would consider that fraud, okay? Thank you, enjoy the video. So this is part one into my investigation into MrBeast. I recorded this before the Chris stuff came out. I was also going to come out about the Chris stuff probably in part 2 or 3. Because I see a lot of people saying like, oh, if you knew, why didn't you come forward? Why didn't you go to the authorities? Well, I was going to come forward, and also like, going to the authorities isn't going to work, because what are you going to say? Like, you heard rumors that this person is this way, or that, you know, there's obviously evidence of like the shad-based stuff. Like, that's been out for a while. People have internally known at the company that like Chris is kind of a potential minors attracted person, and the company protects her, or they were protecting her, and they protected her as long as they could. Jimmy knew, everyone knew. So, you know, which I think that's more of a red flag than anything I'm going to reveal in this video, but
So he posts this video, now goes into a bunch of accusations about fraudulent work and the connection with Chris or Ava. The video is kind of, it seems like it's shadow banned for a little bit, but then it starts to take off. And if you take a look at the stats here, you can see that it was it around the 30th, it started getting huge views, and then it spiked way up here. When was that? It's hard to see. There we go. On August 8th. And it's just been trending upwards since then. More and more people catching on to this story. One thing that you'll notice is at the beginning there, this guy, his pupils are extremely dilated. And, oh, you can't see it there. And indeed, he was apparently high on mushrooms for part of this video, and later admitted it, but then said the main content of it, he was not. And he worked with Jimmy, with MrBeast's team, from February till May, I think is what he said, of this year, 2024. So really not long ago. And so he's just exposing what he saw there and from people he talked to in the past. And you notice he's wearing this police outfit, you know, like he's doing a takedown of MrBeast, and he's coming out with all this evidence. Now, when I first decided I was going to do this video, I had seen DogPack's video, and specifically the part where he's talking about lotteries. And there's one part where he mentions that MrBeast was doing these lotteries, and there was very little mention that you could participate without a purchase, which is illegal. You have to, if you're doing a giveaway like that, a lottery style giveaway, there has to be a no purchase necessary option. And that was not stated in the videos, but it was stated on their website. So whenever you went to the website to order or whatever, you could see this little thing that you didn't have to make a purchase. And his point was that MrBeast made that very difficult. If you wanted to not do a purchase and still enter the lottery, you had to fill out a 3x5 card, put your name and address on it, send it by postage. You're only allowed to send up to 10 per day to get 10 chances to win, and it would cost you to do the postage and all that stuff. And so when I saw that, I thought, is this guy an idiot? Because this is literally what all sweepstakes do. In fact, there's one right now, big one on Facebook and Instagram, 80-80, where they're giving away a Lamborghini. They have all this merch for sale. You have to purchase the merch, or you can fill out a card just like this, 3x5, and you have to send it by first class mail, and you get 60 entries per letter that you send, and there's a limit on how many you can send. But of course it costs you money, it takes time, it's hard to do, and the purpose is to get you to buy the merch instead of going through all this. So at first I was going to say, this guy's just grifting. He is, bringing up these things that don't matter, like the use of CGI in some of the videos to make things look scarier than they actually are, playing with the timer clock so it looks like timer's counting down more than it is. But you expect that because, at least I do, this MrBeast channel is a production. So he's making videos to get people to watch, and he is actually giving money away as far as we know, and I don't think anybody's proven that's not happening, although there are some people claiming they didn't get all of their money at the time that they thought they would. So, and he's doing all these philanthropic things. So I expect that any of his productions could potentially make use of CGI and stuff and play with time clocks and stuff to make it more exciting, because just watching the straight footage would be boring. So of course they cut out clips, they shorten things, they edit it so that it's the most exciting it can be, and it holds you to watch it. I expect that. So I was going to dogpile on DogPack and say, no, you're a grifter trying to gain views on your own channel because you had this brush with the famous MrBeast when you worked with him for a short period of time, and now you're dogpiling on him, and there's a lot of people jumping onto this right now. It's like crabs in a bucket, right? There's blood in the water. The sharks are coming for MrBeast, and they're going to ride this wave to gain their own popularity. Unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of people doing that, and are doing that, to gain their own popularity. And in a sense, I guess maybe I am too, and I'm doing a video on this. I'm hoping it gets views and subscribers. So in a sense, I'm almost like that. Of course, this is what I do on this channel. I comment on different things and do reviews on things from a Christian perspective. So yes, I was going to dogpile on him, but he's got a point, especially with the lottery stuff, that because the way the lottery stuff was done online, it did not explicitly give all the necessary rules that a lottery needs to follow for it to be legal. And so I think MrBeast might actually have a problem with this one. And this is something he's going to have to address. Now, he can claim ignorance to it to an extent, but this was also targeting kids. And another thing that's brought up is it started with sweatshirts. Let me see if I can find that part.
I counted 13 of these extra shady lotteries where they did not give the prize in the original time frame that they said.
Okay, so we're gonna put 2 iPhones in this piñata, and we're gonna give it to someone who orders a shirt in 3 minutes? 5 minutes. Buy a limited edition shirt or hoodie, and we're gonna pick a random one in 10 minutes and give them $2,000.
Have we done iPhones yet?
Yeah. Oh,
we did one. iPhone.
Oh wait, hey Daryl, first actually, before we do that, we never picked a piñata.
So these clearly fit the definition of an illegal lottery. These clips are also not out of context. No one ever said no purchase necessary. There's nothing in the description or on the website. At one point, MrBeast is informed that they ran out of PlayStations, and he says, are we trying to not sell merch?
Our city is sold out of PlayStations. We don't have any. We have to give away. Are we trying to not sell merch?
So he clearly knows that they're making more money by running these illegal lotteries. Another shady thing he did was constantly suggest that they're doing too many giveaways to make a profit.
My guy over there doing the numbers is like, stop, please. It's like, you do realize every time you give away an Xbox, then $1,000. you don't make money. I'm like, oh, I know we're not gonna make money. What do we do?
So I take issue with that because his numbers on the board are talking about the sweatshirts, but there's also a pile of expensive merchandise, far more expensive than the sweatshirts are to produce, that he is giving away. The way he's doing it, though, is definitely questionable, and there is an issue there. There is a part, if I can find it, the signatures are also questionable because it's supposed to be MrBeast signing. It was in another one of the lotteries here. Watch this.
MrBeast crew, and it doesn't say anywhere that other members will sign MB, deceiving people into believing it was signed by MrBeast. So here's a clip of Tyler using MrBeast's signature. So Tyler signs MB, which is MrBeast's signature. Then he covers it, signs his own initials, TC, smirks, looks around, and then quickly slides the shirt away. Could you make it any more obvious? You know, you don't accidentally have someone else's signature as muscle memory. And again, I'm not a lawyer. I think this is fraud. Maybe they could say it's the brand's signature, even though it's clearly implied that this is Jimmy's signature, which was established during the last live stream.
Hey! MB, MrBeast. So this is MrBeast's signature.
No way, this one was signed by MrBeast. It's just got the MB, but that means it's signed by MrBeast. That's obviously his, MrBeast. This is so cool. That's obviously his, MrBeast.
You know, some people bought these shirts as collector's items or even investments, and this puts into question the authenticity of all MrBeast signed merch, which otherwise could have been very valuable one day.
So he has a very good point there. It's collectible, or it should be, but now, really? Did he actually sign any of these? Well, I'm sure he did sign some of them. We saw him on camera. But because it's other people are signing his initials, which one's the real one, right? It waters down all of them. So I agree with him on this. He releases another video later. Oh, he talks about Feastables. Now this is another interesting thing with Feastables. Jimmy was using this to gain subscribers, but also to raise money. He would do these lottery style giveaways, but they also cost a lot of money with this merch. Whereas with Feastables, he's in control of the product. He can produce it for way, way cheaper, and he can use it for his lotteries. And that's exactly what he ends up doing, especially as he launches into Australia, which is where a whole another side of this comes up. So that concludes episode 1 on this. There's 2 episodes. Part 2 will be coming up in just a few days, so you don't have to wait long. I'm actually going to be switching the way I do my videos. So right now I have it set up so midweek I do my review videos, and then on the weekends, usually on Sunday, I do my stats review on my YouTube channel to see how things are going. I'm going to be switching things up because the problem with the midweek one is that's usually the one that's way more involved, and I also work. So it doesn't work in the middle of the week to do that. I need to do the more involved one on the weekends and do the stats review midweek. So I'll be switching those. So part 1 is this one. Part 2 will be coming out in just a couple days, probably on Saturday. On that episode, or on that part, we'll go into Jake Weddle's testimony on DogPack 404's second video. We'll go into the Australian lottery fiasco that was going on there. We'll go into some of the other things that have come out with the new Amazon Prime series for the Beast games, and just some of the new stuff that's come out. So tune in for that one, and we'll see you there. Like and subscribe. And I just want to finish with this scripture. This is from Colossians 1:13, and this is a good verse for what God can do with all of this mess. He says, "For he rescued us from the domain of darkness and transferred us to the kingdom of his beloved Son, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins." So the forgiveness of sins is for everybody, including everybody involved here, including MrBeast, including Ava Kris Tyson. Everybody that's been hurt or abused can come to God and receive healing. those people that have been abused and end up abusing others, Jesus breaks the chain. He can rescue these people. Repentance and coming to God is where things get sorted out. And I really pray for that for MrBeast and for those connected, impacted, and hurt by all of this mess that's been happening. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and share. Hit that notification bell. Tell your friends, and we will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.
To reaching the top of the summit, I was about yay high when Yahweh told me to run it. Only a matter of time before my mob needed hitting 100. I swore sign, he told me to pay more attention, he already done it.